The problem is, and this is why I finished the fucking damned book. Let's do a yes, no, maybe to all of the books I read in the month of March. So I actually filmed the entire wrap up earlier, just now. Actually, I did. And then when I looked back at the video, the audio was completely fucked. Like, not a single minute of that video was usable. I actually turned on my ceiling light halfway through the video and everything turned yellow. Like, when I tell you sepia isn't enough to describe how yellow it looked, I immediately deleted the video. And here I am recording it again. So we're going to do a yes or maybe because I cannot sit down and say everything else I just said 5 minutes ago. So sorry, not sorry. That's what we're going to be doing. I will be talking a little bit about and why it's a yes or no or a maybe, but it is what it is, bitches. It is what it is. Before we get into the video, don't forget to do the usual, okay? Subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, TikTok. You know the drill. Everything is linked down below, but it's also like the same username, so follow me. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the Fairy Loot books I read this month. I've been going through quite a few of them just to, get through them, but also to see if I'm going to keep the books or not. And I have been vlogging them, so any YA book mentioned is already in a vlog that's already up, and adult books, I'm currently vlogging it to then post it. You can just keep your eye out for it, okay? So first off, we have Graceless Heart. It's a yes. It's a yes. It's a solid yes. I have to admit, it's a solid yes. I give this 4 stars. It's a beautiful historical fantasy / fiction that happens in Italy / around Florence, and it is with the actual history of Florence mixed in with a few fictional characters, but a lot of the things that happen in this book did happen in actual real life, and a lot of the characters mentioned here also existed in real life. Some were already dead by the time this happened, others were still alive, some were a bit of a stretch, but it was all surrounding people that actually existed in history, and I found that so interesting. The characters are very interesting, the story is very interesting, the romance is very interesting as well. It was an overall really, really good book. It is YA, and a lot of things were predictable, but it also had a lot of plot points that were not predictable at all, and like just twists that were really cool that I really liked. And overall, it was a very, very solid, good book. Really like this one, so a solid yes. Next up, we have Weaving Shaw. This was a 5 stars. So it's a hell yes. It's a hell yes, okay? I'm still kind of considering because this might actually go down to 4.5. I didn't love the ending, but I love the story itself. So we basically follow this girl that sees ghosts, and she starts working for this dude that collects secrets from other people, and he needs her to find this one ghost, and they go through this adventure, and the ghost is the owner of Weaving Shaw, and there's a whole story. There's so much in the background. There's a lot of plot twists. The relationship between the characters is also very interesting to see. They're not technically enemies, but they also don't really like each other that much until they start to fall in love, and it is a bit of a slow burn, and there's a lot of secrets. She is a little bit dumb, and I think that's the main thing also with this book, is that she is incredibly smart but extremely dumb. He tells her things up front, obvious, clear as day, and she still doesn't see them. She doesn't do 1 + 1 = 2, and it fucking annoys the living crap out of me. So I did initially rate this 5 stars, but I think it's gonna go down to 4.5. 4, maybe 4. This one I might actually go up to 4.5. I need to see. You guys know, if you've been here before, you know that I'm weird with my ratings. I change them a lot. So this is under revision, but it's a solid yes. It's a very good, nice story, and it's very gothic-y. Really like this one. And the last one was the Sun and the Star Maker, and this is another hell yes. It's another hell yes. I was so lucky with the Fairy Loot books this month. Hell yes. It's a solid 5 stars, okay? But I will say, if you go into this book, this is not a romantasy. This is not a fantasy. To me, in my head, this is a romance in a fantasy setting, not a romantasy. And I know that's kind of what it means, but it's not, okay? Because the fantasy takes such a background role in this, it's ridiculous. You barely get anything related to the fantasy, how the powers work, how the society works. You barely get anything to do with that. The foreground is the relationship. That is the main focus of this book. And that is what you get, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful romance story. It's just the things they have to struggle with and come to terms with, and the thought process, everything was very interesting to me, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I loved seeing them grow into their relationship and just grow as actual characters, as actual people. So solid 5 stars. Yes, 100%. Going into the digital books I read one indie book this month. It is Shadowbound. It is a no. I feel so bad saying this, but basically I got the e-arc for this indie book. It was going to be published this month. I'm not sure. I'm not up to date with it. I haven't reviewed it anywhere because I know that my opinion isn't great. I gave it 3 stars. I'm going to go down to 2.5 possibly. It's not that the book was bad. It just overpromised and underdelivered. Okay, so this book is supposed to be like this one girl and then these 3 males, right? I know. So this one werewolf, lone werewolf, and the alpha werewolf guy, the alpha vampire guy, and a shadow daddy fae. And you're promised that the fae is a very handsy fae. It's even in the trigger warnings for this book. And also you just assume this also with the description, with the promises of this book, that, you know, they would all get involved at some capacity. So she does get involved with the alpha dog, basically. She does get involved with the alpha werewolf, but like, that's all we see. It's her getting multiple times involved with him, and it's very spicy. It's very nice. I like the spice. Very nice. But then with the vampire, you know, she walks him like a dog. Literally walks him like a dog. She's a dom for him, but you get nothing. It shows you nothing. The shadow daddy does nothing. Like, poor man is in the trigger warnings because he's handsy and he didn't touch anything. Poor man. And then last chapter, kid you not, last chapter, they finally get together in one bed. And it's Fade to Black. How are you promising a smutty book and you do it Fade to Black? That makes no fucking sense, people. And why are you doing smut with one but then Fade to Black with the... What? It was very annoying. Even though the characters weren't bad, the story wasn't bad, the writing wasn't bad. Like, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite because it wasn't, but it wasn't bad at all. Overpromised, underdelivered. It's a no for me, dog. No. Then I read Golden Sun and Morning Star. Those are book 2 and 3 of the Red Rising series. I think Red Rising series for me is a maybe in general, but I will say second book maybe, third book yes. I did like the series, but it was really weird because I was at the same time I was in the mood, but I wasn't in the mood. I got tired of it. It was too much. I didn't connect with the story as much as I wanted to. I did connect with some of the characters a lot, but then the story itself was just not exactly what I wanted. And the second book was very much like a middle book. It wasn't giving what I needed it to give. The third book was pretty good. I think it was the combination of things. There was a lot of plot twists, a lot of twists and turns, and characters doing a lot of things. It was a better book, but overall the story I'm kind of iffy. I think it's a me problem. I do see why people like it. I do see the potential for me liking it, but for some reason it's not clicking. It's just not clicking to me. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some, okay? It is what it is. But I did vlog it. It will be up as well. It's another vlog that's coming soon. So I also read the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. Okay, as a whole, it's a yes. Okay, if we're going to be a little picky about it, first and third, yes. Middle one, maybe, but you'll still read it. Okay, but it's kind of sort of the maybe. So I gave 4 stars to the first, 3.5 to the second, 4.5 to the third. Second was a complete middle book, okay? That's kind of the explanation. It was a middle book. There was things happening that were interesting and they were important for the evolution of the characters, but as a book itself, it wasn't that much, okay, compared to the other two as well. I really like V. Schwab's writing. This is not news. I've read a few of her books and I've been really satisfied so far. I really like her writing. And these books were not an exception to that rule. I loved the concept of the worlds in this story. How there were 4 worlds, same bases, same London city, which is a common point in all of these worlds. And then magical thing happened, the worlds get cut off, each in their different situations, and we then see these worlds diverging in paths completely and creating these specific societies that are completely different from each other. The magical abilities of the ones that can travel between worlds, very interesting as well. I love our main characters, Kel and Lila. I love them. Lila is a firecracker. I absolutely love her. And by the third book, I was also really liking the other characters, the side characters, the prince and his little boy toy. Even the king and the queen, you kind of start to understand their story a bit more. Even the other dude that we hated in the first book, you start to understand him as well. Like, all of it just comes to a really nice conclusion, and I really liked the last book a lot. So it was just a very good series in general. I would advise it. I really liked it. I really did. It was really nice. It was a really nice series. So I also had a little bit of a slump this month after like Red Rising and everything. I was really struggling with it. I tried to make it work, but it was not going. I was getting really stuck in the book. I don't know. I was slumpy. So what did I decide to do? I went into dark romance, which I rarely go. I rarely read dark romance, not because I don't like the dark aspect of it, but just because I prefer the fantasy. Yeah, so if you have any dark romance fantasies, send them my way, bitch. Send them my way, send them my way. Okay, because I would love that. But I decided to go into dark romance just to give me some nice, smutty reads, just to get my hopes up. So I read Lights Out. Why did I love it so much? It's a yes. It's a yes. It's a hell yes. I give it 5 stars, bitch. That's how much I liked it. It's honestly surprising to me because I don't give romance books that high of a rating because it's not my cup of tea. It's not something I love. And also, compared to fantasy, how are you giving the, you know what I mean? It's hard for me. I get in my own head. I understand that. But like, it's just hard for me. And I gave it 5 stars automatically. Like, I was giggling, kicking my feet, laughing. It was so funny. It was such a nice kind of dark rom-com. Stalker rom-com. It was just so funny. And I heard the audios on TikTok. We've all heard them, okay? And they made me cringe so bad. I never wanted to read these books, but because I figured I'm not gonna like this. This is not my cup of tea. I'm not going to join this. Just not gonna do it. No. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know why. It was just, I needed to read it. And so I did. And I loved it so much. It was really funny. And you know what? I gotta say, at the end of everything, couples that slay together, stay together, bitch. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. It was so funny. I just loved it so much. It was so good. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. Hell yes. Lastly, we have Little Stranger, and that is a hell no. Hell no. Gave it 1 star. And let me explain myself because I don't even know if I know how to explain myself with this one. So I got it recommended to me on TikTok multiple times. And it was to the point where like it was within an hour, I got it recommended to me 4 times. And I was like, okay, let me go. I went in blind. This is basically a... step-siblings love, where one is very much a victim and she's very much like manipulated and used, and you know, and the other is selectively mute person with possibly antisocial personality disorder. I'm not really picky when it comes to like the incest thing with step-siblings because like most of the times they just met, right? Or they knew each other and then the parents fall in love with each other afterwards and it's a whole thing. That doesn't bother me because to me, they're not siblings, period. But when it comes to step-siblings that met when one was 10, the other 11, or one was 9, the other 10, it was like 1 year apart, but they were very young and they grew up together into their preteens and teens. No. That's ick, because to me, you're not step-siblings anymore, you're siblings, period. There is no step here. You are siblings, full-blooded. It doesn't matter if there's no blood, it's full-blooded to me. And so it gave me the ick so bad, so fast when I realized that was the whole trope, especially because you start the book off with seeing the girl's POV when she was very young. The problem is, and this is why I finished the fucking damned book, okay? It's the psychological side of it. So you basically see her... like her mental processes and how she's trying to justify how she feels about him throughout the years, from the moment she meets him to like then like current time, like when they're teens. And so that was so interesting to me. That book kind of gave me the introspection of like, how are they justifying this to themselves? Really think about it. How do you justify this to be normal, right? And this book kind of shows you. And I found that really interesting. So I kind of got sucked into that side of it. And then the smut would happen. I'd be like, I hate this. Can we just skip along? And then we go back to justifying it, and then the smut would come up. You know, it was so fucking weird. Disgust and curiosity mix of a blend of a reading experience where I was very disgusted the entire time, but I was also very like, my psychologist side of my brain was like, ooh, this is interesting because this is like the mechanics of a person's thought process. And I just thought that was very interesting because to me, they were kind of sort of groomed into this, right? Like they groomed each other into this relationship. Also, he kind of groomed her a little bit because like he was so overbearing, and so whatever that she kind of like was the victim of him and kind of like led into this path. I honestly do think that if he wasn't the way he was, it would never have crossed her mind to be that. And you see that kind of happen because you see her since she was a very young age. And that is kind of what trapped me, because I thought that was very interesting how these two children were like kind of grooming each other, but one was definitely grooming more the other than, you know, and this whole relationship between them, making it this mixed up and just fucked up, that is what I found interesting. That's basically it. Those are all the books I read this month. It's short and sweet because I already did the full-length video earlier and I'm not doing it again. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this like little sweet little short video. Let me know what your favorite book of this month was, and again, if you have recommendations for me, dark romance, fantasy, spicy, let me know. Okay, but good one, not just like, oh shit, good one. Okay, let me know. And that's it. I'm gonna go because I'm tired at this point after filming 2 videos. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.